Hey there Nerdfighter, it's Dave here, and this week we're piggybacking off last week's theme of being alone, but this time we're going the other route and discussing being part of a large social group. Is it good? Is it bad? Well, we're about to discuss it and find out.
Oh, the Nerdfighters!
So when I set this week's topic of discussion, I was quite vague about it. I gave some basic outline points, but I was hoping the vloggers of this week would take the ball and run with it, and put their own spin and their own perspective on things, and they've done that. Like, personally, I've chosen to talk about being part of a large social group, and is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? But you may stand there and heckle me from the sidelines, shouting, I'm not part of any particular social group and I don't like labels. Well, you'll be surprised to learn that whether you like it or not, you are part of a certain group. Take this channel for example. If you've appeared on this channel, chances are you already fall into three categories: a YouTuber, a collaborator, and a nerdfighter. So there's three off the bat, and that's just through YouTube. That's just this one thing. You may then find you're part of a particular fan group of a YouTuber. Like, a lot of people are fans of PewDiePie, which I can't understand, I can't get my head around, but people are. So whether you're a fan of them or the Vlogbrothers or Vsauce or Burley Productions or anybody else on YouTube, you fall into their groups of fans. Let's broaden our horizons beyond just YouTube. We're still staying in fandoms for the moment, but say that you're a fan of Warhammer, you play tabletop games, or you're a fan of a large series of books like Harry Potter. That means you're a Harry Potter fan. Or you're a fan of the TV show Arrow, so you're part of the audience to that, so you're part of that social group as fans of that particular thing. So sometimes you don't realise how many different social groups you're actually in until you start thinking. So you've thought about what social groups you're in. Fantastic, well done you. But now we've got to talk about, is it a good thing you're part of those groups? And for the most part, yes, definitely. Community, a sense of getting together to discuss things you all have passion about. That's great. I can't really think of a bad thing, but then you get into these other groups, like hate groups. I'm going to take a leaf off Philip DeFranco's book here, and I'm not going to name any groups because I don't think they deserve publicity and they don't deserve to be even mentioned. But there are some groups that you join because you hate something, which, okay, it's still your passion, but you're outwardly trying to stop people from enjoying or living their lives, and that is heinous and wrong. It boggles my mind that people create groups just to hate on other groups, and I'm not talking about religion. That's a whole different discussion and argument in the comments for another time. I'm talking about basic social groups, and you have someone who likes PewDiePie, fine. I'm glad you're a fan, well done. I do not like him, and I do not find him funny in the slightest, but I wouldn't go and join an anti-PewDiePie league just because I don't like him and I don't find him funny. Because I don't want to inhibit other people's enjoyment of him, because who am I to dictate who someone else can enjoy? But that brings up another point. If you're going to join a group, you're going to look to the more advanced members of the group who've been there a while or have been involved in this thing for a long time. And you're going to want to learn of them. And that's where you start to pick up their trait. So if there's certain things that this group does that's seen in a negative light by the rest of the world, you're going to pick up on that without really realising that it's a negative thing until you've learned this trait and then you're doing it yourself. And then you'll maybe teach it to someone else. So social influence, and another one, social pressure. You know, you feel like you're pressured into doing something and learning something, and then you get that ingrained in you, and then you feel you have to pressure other people. And it's really negative. So yeah, there are downsides to social groups and groups in general. But I'm just lucky that the groups I identify with generally happen to have a positive impact on each other and the world. From being a fanboy of all things Marvel, to being a nerdfighter, to being a YouTuber, to being a wrestling fan, I'm part of social groups I think enhance my enjoyment of the things I like, and they just have a positive impact. But as we saw with the YouTube scandals a few years ago, there's always going to be a small minority of any given group, both social or whatever, that's less than great. Like with the Nerdfighters, 99.9% of them are made of awesome, and we want to decrease world suck and raise money for charity and remember us for Earl and her amazing message to the world. You do get the odd person who's out to ruin it, or just to use the community for their own ends. I've dealt with people before while running the Nerdfighters Ning who have tried to use the community to get their own way and to use them to just better themselves while treading on people, rather than using the message of the community to just band together. They just use it for their own personal ends, and you'll find that in every community, unfortunately. But I think it's our job as members of these nations, of these groups, of these fandoms, to either ignore these people or actively get rid of them, because we don't need people influencing our ways negatively, and we really just want to enjoy doing what we're doing. So thanks for stopping by, don't forget to be awesome, and Thomas, we'll see you on Tuesday.